ng mga namumuno. No? Yan, pati ba naman yan? Kailangan si Duterte pa magdidesisyon dyan. Kaya nga may kabinete. I am disappointed. Patapos na ang term ni Presidente Duterte, I had high hopes for Art Tugade. Alam mo si Art Tugade, 2 years ahead sa akin sa Beda yan eh. And he was really a valedictorian type. No? Pero mukhang mas matanda pa sa kay Duterte ngayon. Mas mabagal pa sa kay Duterte ngayon. Ito ba naman? Kaya ngayong libro ko, itong yung first book ko, A Problem for Every Solution ang title. Ang Pilipino ang hilig dyan. Gagawa ng solusyon, babatuhin ang problema. Yan ba naman from the very beginning, hindi ba naman dapat requirement na yan ng DOTR, di ba? Ano ba yun? Yung Toll Regulatory Board. Ha? Na kung gusto nyo maging concession, it took the light rail transit. Ilan sila nag-operate? 3 ba? 4? 3. How many years kami itong bago na pag-isa? Success na yan sa light rail transit. Pero bago na pag-isa yung sistema, Diyos mio, inabot ang dekada.
Yes.
Inabot ang henerasyon. Ano lang naman yan Yun ang mga kabansa, hindi ho komplikado ang computer, hindi ho komplikado ang information technology. Pinahihirap lang po yan ng mga taong gustong kumita on the sides dyan.
That's right. Well, yan ang sistema natin, kapitalista nga, at maraming watak-watak na mga interest na nag-aagawan sa mga oportunidad na kumita ng limpak-limpak, the profit-seeking motive. Yun ang problema natin sa isang sistemang ganito. Kung gusto natin mabilis na development na public transportation, trains, fast trains, underground transportation, underground trains, and so on. Tingnan natin ang China, di ba? One of the most extensive, one of the lengthiest train system, commuter train and long-range train systems in the world in just a very, very short time. At the best in the world.
Hindi lang sa train. In their entire life, China has simplified. Ano ba tawag doon? Yung gano'n?
Chop-chop. Yung QR. Yung QR code.
Yung QR lang. Hindi na kailangan RFID.
That's right.
Pati pulube, mga kabasa, alam nyo ba? Magbibigay kayo sa pulube sa Xiamen, nakita natin, di ba kami ito? O ano yung ginawa mo? Bakit kinuha mo yung nagtapatan kayo ng cellphone ng pulube? May pulube. Hindi naman pulube, pero parang may problema siya. Sabi ng guide natin, di ba, nung sabi, I gave him some money. I gave him some money. Nagtapatan lang sila ng QR code. May abuloy na yung tao, may pera na yung tao siguro for the day.
In-scan nung pulube, nung humihingi ng tulong, yung QR code. Yung may hawak naman ng QR code, nilagay kung magkanong ibibigay niya.
Ibibigay. Ganun din ho. Kagamitin yan sa palengke, sa bus, sa taxi, sa tren, sa aeroplano, sa barko, sa lahat ho.
Yeah.
Gagamitin yung QR code. Ito RFID pa lang, Diyos ko, hindi ko na maintindihan.
Yes, well, it's 8:10 right now. We have 4 more bullets that we want to discuss and then some main themes po. But at 9 o'clock, we're hoping we will have a Skype or Zoom interview with General Parlade at ang ating tulay kay General Parlade andito na, isa sa pinakamasamang damo sa mundo natin. Kaya at 79 walang elevator ngayon, sa PIA sa 4 na palapag inakyat to nitong masamang damong si Mauro Samonte. Mas masamang damo kaysa kay Joe Masison, kaya hindi matalo ni Joe Masison. Oh, kamusta ka? Good morning. Let me see. Do I have the correct... yan. Is this the right one? Yung microphone ni Mauro? No, the number 3 doesn't work. Number 4 doesn't work. Number 5 lang. I wonder if this is the one. Kasi wala nang ilaw eh. Oh.
Hindi na rin nag-iilaw.
Check mo nga. Mic test.
Mic test.
It's not the one eh, no? Is it? Wala eh. Let's try this one. Sige, keep testing it. Hinahanap ko kung...
Mic test.
Sige pa.
Bandaron.
Hindi, baka try it again.
Mic test.
Wala pa rin eh. Ito, try it.
Mic test. Uwi na ako?
Ayun, nakuha ko na. Okay, nakuha na natin. Okay, thank you. Okay. And so, si Mauro...
Wala na elevator, wala pa rin ilaw na.
Okay na. Nahanap na natin. Okay, and so we were just talking about the RFID for the tollways and so on, and why not make it just one? The second bullet ko is aimed at Belica. Ito ay aking pinulot mula sa Malaya Business Insight, yung galing kay Wendell Virginia and Jocelyn Montemayor. House to PACC, put up or shut up, Belica told. Why even talk if you can't name names? And so, nag-eksena lang ba, nag-grandstand lang ba si Belica dito sa kanyang anunsyo? At wala siyang pangalan na mailabas. At ang unang reaction ko kaagad 12 congressmen only involved in corruption? My gosh! Wow. I cannot believe that it is below 80% ang mga kongresistang na nagtataga sa mga kontrata sa kanilang pork barrel at iba
Ang problema dyan Mentong, dahil sa kanila napapahiya ang Pangulo. Kasi almost 2 days after that, sinabi ng Pangulo, hindi ko pwedeng pakialaman yan dahil wala akong jurisdiction dyan. After another 2 days, lumabas naman si Secretary of Justice Bernardo Guevara na nagsasabi na miski congressman sila, pwede ko sila imbestigahin. So hindi ko na maintindihan dito. Kung sabagay si Greco ay talagang magkakaroon na ng masamang reputasyon, Mentong. Una, nakabangga niya si Otelo Dalanon. At dahil doon sa pagbangga nila, dinimanda ni...
Background muna, Otelo Dalanon. Si
Otelo Dalanon ay dating direktor ng BIR na nagsumite kay kay Cesar Dulay ng posisyon na hindi dapat yung Cosmos at Del Monte na dapat kolektahin ay tens of billions ay ma-compromise settlement lamang sa tens of millions. At hindi lang yun dahil mayroong desisyon ang Court of Tax Appeals. Well, ang ginawa ni Dulay, dinimanda si Otelo Dalanon.
Libel.
Takbo naman yan si Otelo kay Greco. Report, gano'n. Sinamahan pa na ating kaibigan na si Melchor Magdamo. Wala rin nangyari. Pinaastahan lang sila. At habang nag-uusap sila, ang kausap ni Greco ay yung kanyang cellphone. Tapos, ano nangyari? Dinimanda naman siya ngayon ni Ali Monsi. Pangalawang demanda na yan kay Ali Monsi over some transactions. Pangatlo, hindi ko na bibigyan detalye, mahaba.
Kaya nga.
Pangatlo, dinimanda naman siya ng mga empleyado ng duty free. Bakit? Nagpunta sila kay Greco doon sa kanyang magsumbong ka. Kay Belica sa radyo. Sumbong naman sila. Dinala sila sa opisina ng kapatid ni Greco na chairman ng ARTA, yung anti-red tape. At doon sa law office, nag-agree sila na wala naman babayaran. Pagdating doon sa korte, sinigil sila ng 1,000 per page. Ang kapal, kada 1,000. No? Tapos, nung magkaroon ng harapan, pagbalik sa kanila ng law office, pinapipirma na sila ng waiver. At siguro, ang implikasyon, kaya nagdemanda itong mga duty free, ay nagkaaregluhan. Isinuli naman sa kanila yung filing fee sa ombudsman ng law office. Pero yung bayad per 1,000 page, 1,000 per page, hindi na binalik. At ano yung kasong yun? Ang kasong yun, ang nagdadawit kay Greco, Bellica, kay Lucio Co. Dahil mukhang may sponsor to si Greco, ang pangalan, Lucio Co. Kaya tanong na marami, ito bang dalawang ko na ito magkamag-anak? Kaya kailangan lagay natin sa light. Tapos naulit po ito. Pinatawag niya yung mga, may isang kaso ng mga involving GTNR, pinatawag niya undersecretary, assistant secretary, director at lahat. At sinasabi sa kanila na something to the effect na come across or else I will investigate you. Yung ganun ba? Yung dating na ganun. Ang akin lang dito, alam nyo, huwag na kayong magpulusot sa ating Pangulo.
Well, the President has reported to the public that at least 800 government personnel has been fired for corruption, so the effort is there.
But we want the proper names to be falling down, the proper Humpy-Dumpies to be falling down the wall. But those are small fish.
Well, let me just go to Mauro to check if he's still all right. After climbing the 4 flights of stairs.
Nakikinig lang ako.
You're now, am I correct? You're now 79 or 97?
No, I'll be 80 come August. Okay. But that's correct. I'm hitting 97. That's the age of my mother when she died.
Okay. And so, ayan po,
anyway, nakikinig ako sa inyo. Alam mo, pag pinag-uusapan yung corruption, yung red tape sa bureaucracy, etc. Suko ako dyan So I don't talk about it as if pwedeng gamutin. Hindi na magagamot yan. Hindi yan magagamot.
May stress ka lang.
Hindi yan magagamot. Unless there is a radical change sa government.
Pero kahit na China na napaka-stricto na sa corruption at si President Xi Jinping ay nangampanya na for the past 8 years.
Human nature yan.
Patuloy pa rin yung kampanya. Don't forget, the very first couple in this earth in paradise was immediately corrupted by the serpent. Pero the effort
natin yan,
pero the effort should continuously be there naman to weed out, to weed out not the bad weeds but the corrupt weeds. Bad weeds tayo anyway, hindi lang naman sa gobyerno ang corruption, sa big business.
Sabi ko, kahapon nag-usap kami ni the other day, nag-usap kami ni Butch Ramirez.
Okay.
Kaibigan ko si Butch sa Sports Commission, Commissioner Butch. Sabi ko sa kanya, nung pinag-usapan namin yung corruption, sabi ko sa kanya, actually, I realize ang corruption nasa tao
Nasa tao talaga.
Nasa tao. Kung hindi corrupt ang tao, hindi malalagay yung official na corrupt sa gobyerno. The fact na corrupt yung nalagay sa gobyerno, corrupt yung naglagay sa kanya dyan. Sino ba yung isang Indian leader,
India, sa India.
Leader,
sino? Sonia Gandhi?
Nehru yata.
Nehru.
Sabi niya. Yung corruption sa gobyerno, salamin niya ng corruption ng mga tao. Totoo yun.
Well, komplikado talaga ang issue ng corruption, personal values, culture, merong corruption na tanggap ng kultura, yun ang pinakamahirap. But we still develop our values towards perfecting society. Mahaba pa yan, but certainly yung mga for show na anti-corruption institutions like PACC natin, I think it's only for show.
Yung sinasabi ni Kaado, yung official involved in weeding out corruption, yung mismo corrupt pa. Anong gagawin
natin? Ang problema, sa electoral system natin, andyan yung mga dynasties. I don't know, baka naman may rasong mabuti ang ating Pangulo at nag-appoint siya na presidential advisor niya sa ecclesiastical affairs.
Sino yan?
Yung si Grepo Belica, yung tatay. Tapos yung anak, commissioner sa presidential anti-graft. Tapos yung bunso, chairman ng anti-red tape.
Yan ang problema sa political system nga natin. Na
Hanap buhay ang gobyerno.
every 6 years nag-rotate with different people, different parties. You have no continuity. Kaya may artikulo ako sa Sovereign PH. Why China's 5-year programs work. And my criteria are, number 1, may soberenya siya. Hindi siya pumapayag na makialam ang Amerikano o Hapon o kung sino sa plano niya. Tapos may continuity ng gobyerno, tuloy-tuloy. Kaya every 5 years, titingnan nila, na-accomplish ba natin, anong naging problema, ayusin natin. Next 5 years, mas lalong maganda ang performance and so on, continuously for the past 70 years. Kaya nasisindak tayo sa development ng China because of their system. Itong false, this fraud of electoral democracy has been exposed, lalo-lalo na ngayon sa collapse ng political system ng US. We'll go on with that.
Kaya dapat we decide once and for all. Gusto pa ba natin na election? Sa akin, ayoko na.
Ayoko na rin.
Yung sabi ko kay Boots,
maraming
sistema natin mali.
maraming
election.
Last comment on that.
Pero babalik ko dito kay Greco. Dito siya nagkamali. Inumpog niya yung mga kongresista na wala naman siyang matibay na tinatayuan. Actually, hindi ito bago. Magto 2 years na itong pinupukpuk ni Greco. But, for a loser in the 2016 senatorial elections, behaving this way, nakakala siguro niya, by doing this, ma-elect siya sa 2022.
Okay.
Nagkakamali siya.
Okay, let me move on to the corruption naman sa big business, and this one in the big pharma field,
Yeah, okay.
Bakit merong itong biglang AstraZeneca na jumps in front of the line in selling a vaccine to the Philippines? Hindi man lang siya nag-a-apply pa sa ating DOST at FDA panel for screening kung pwede bang isama sa phase 3 trial.
Naunahan pa yung Pfizer?
Naunahan pang Pfizer, pero Pfizer pag-usapan natin mamaya. Naunahan ngayon ang Sinovac na matagal nang nag-apply at inaprubahan na, at ngayon yung pangalawa, yung Clover, both Chinese vaccines. At parehong na-testingan na sa China ng 100,000 mga tao for emergency use. So may basis na for accepting it and testing it in the country. Yung AstraZeneca, biglang pumasok, matapos yung Pfizer, nag-claim na 95% effectivity, which is really a big question mark. Kahit mga flu vaccine, 50, 60, 70% lang effectivity, tanggap na yun maraming question mark. Hindi pa tapos yung phase 3 trial ng Pfizer, Moderna, and all of them, hindi pa tapos. Ang pinaka-advance sa mga test ay mga Chinese vaccine kasi ginamit din nila sa sariling bansa nila.
Baka kamag-anak ng Sanofi yan.
Ayun na nga.
Yung vaccine.
So, meron na done deal?
Ito na nga, yan sa screen mo. Vaccine deal seen to deliver shot of confidence for Philippine economy. Anong connection ng vaccine deal and shot of confidence for the Philippine economy? In fact, mabuti, nagsulat si Ian Macabenta ng Manila Times. Why is the Philippines contracting to buy AstraZeneca vaccine that is still needs additional trials? And dito sa Pilipinas, hindi man lang sila nag-first base of applying to try it in trials.
Anyway, contracting pa, ongoing, hindi pa contracted.
May hindi sila dapat isama sa listahan.
May mga ibang balita na contracted na with through Joe Concepcion. Yung anak ni yung batang Joe Concepcion, di ba? Joey Concepcion. Alam naman natin itong pamilyang Concepcion, matagal nang involving their business in politics. Si Joe Concepcion, Raul Concepcion, Joey na, patay na ata si Joey yung anak nitong Raul
Concepcion, hindi corruption.
Commission siguro. Okay, so again, maging maingat tayo sa mga headlines. Kaya ako pinoint out itong Inquirer headline eh.
Oh.
Tingnan mo yung misleading na
Inquirer pa mo din, ha?
Oo nga.
Dilaw, dilaw naman yan si Concepcion.
Oo.
Pero advisor kasi yan, boss.
Alam ko.
Paano ba
Hindi
yan?
ba yan ang Yumari kay
Paano ba yan? Ha? Are we getting the right advice?
Ito siya na Cory.
Well, alam naman natin yung negosyo ng Concepcion Industries. Lumaki talaga yan during the time of Cory nung naging Secretary of Trade yung si Joe
Sa
Concepcion.
bread pa lang sila doon. Sa bread and flour. Ngayon, nasa bread and butter na sila.
Okay, and now I go to media. This is my fourth bullet for this Sunday.
Aray ko po.
This issue ng Robredo at ang interaction
Aray.
inilagay sa kanyang mga headlines itong flashback. Tricia Robredo looks back promise to parents to do well in science. Anong connection nito sa buhay ng bayan natin? Bakit pipiliin yan? Well, I've been analyzing kasi yung mga PR strategies and campaigns sa media. Alam ni Kaado yan, and we're all adept in analyzing these things. So ito ay kasama doon sa Robredo campaign, to make her a centerpiece in public affairs, kaya nga papel siya ng papel sa lahat ng mga activities. Yung isang controversial education hub, learning hub, face to face ng mga estudyante na at this time should really be evaluated by the Department of Health first. Pero bakit niya ginagawa? Para makapapil na naman sa mga pahayagan. And anyway, itong interaction, I've been monitoring it, and talagang dilawan ang mga
Dinisoon ni Leonor Bernes.
dinisoon nga, hindi aprobado ng Department of Education. I don't know if you've been following that, Kamauro.
Ang alam yun?
Yung learning hub ni Robredo. Bakit siya pumapasok doon? Vice-presidente siya. That's not her role to get involved in micro operations of education.
Alam mo ang problema ko kami to. I'm so fed up with this system na yung mga ganyan developments na sa akin, suko ako dyan, wala na akong magagawa, so I'd rather work silently dun sa sarili ko ng mga agenda.
Maganda yung column mo.
Pagdating ng panahon, ibabubulaga ko na lang yan.
Papag-usapan natin yung column mo itong araw na to. But this is just to expose and educate the public on what PR campaigns mean, and how they operate. Kaya makikita ng publiko sa ating day-to-day discussion nito, yung mga components ng isang the Robredo campaign strategy. So
honestly now, Mentong, do we believe na qualitative changes ay maaaring mangyari without a disruption sa establishment ngayon?
Well, we have a break coming, and in the next 30 seconds, insufficient time to discuss that. But after this break, itong Tiamsons guilty of kidnapping soldiers in 1988, we'll take off from that to discuss your question now. Okay, let's take this break.
Andres Bonifacio, matapang na tao, sa labanan, hindi sumusuko, hindi tumatakbo, magiting na batang tundo.
Sisimulan na natin ang himagsikan! Ngayon na ang panahon!
Nobyembre 30, araw ng pag-alala sa kapanganakan ng ama ng revolusyon.
Mabuhay ang katipunan!
Supremo Andres Bonifacio. Isang pagpupugay sa isa sa ating mga bayaning huwaran, ang katapangan at pagmamahal sa bayan. Mula sa Radyo Pilipinas, 738 AM. Ngayong nasa proseso pa ng pag-adjust sa new normal lifestyle, unti-unting pagbubukas ng ekonomiya, ipinayo ng DTI. Kanilang mungkahi, palawigin ang age bracket ng mga Upwork. Panghikayat daw ito para mag-operate ang mas maraming establishment. Makakatulong nga ba ito para sa muling pagsigla ng ekonomiya? Risk management ba'y sagot sa banta ng virus? IATF kaya'y pabor sa kanilang rekomendasyon? Ating sundan ang pasya ng hamalaan dito sa Radyo Pilipinas, 738 AM.
Mahahalagang issue, maiinit na balita at talakayang alamin sa mas pinaganda, mas pinalawak, mas pinalakas. Radyo Pilipinas, 738 sa Metro Manila. Ang maestro at iba pa. The Unfinished Revolution.
Beautiful Sunday.
Okay, beautiful Sunday po tayo ngayong araw na to, and to our viewers all over the world, ating mga kabansa everywhere in the world, morning, evening, afternoon, good morning ulit. And ito po is the big news this week, November 28. This is just yesterday sa mga headlines, and this one from the Manila Times. Tiamson's guilty of kidnapping soldiers in 1988. Finally, the decision has come, and 40 years po imprisonment itong mag-asawa na naging top leader po ng leaders ng Communist Party of the Philippines, CPP. And si Mauro knows this issue very well dahil he has been one of the active supporters and actually active members of the movement. Pero kanyang matagal nang itinakwil, and in fact he's one of the of those in the forefront helping General Parlade dito sa kampanya na ma-expose itong mga to. We're waiting for Mauro. Nag-break muna si Mauro, and so papasok na po siya sa ating booth. So Kaado, while we're waiting for Mauro to get settled, what's your
Meron pang isang bagong development. May isa na namang yata siya, 16, 17 years old nung i-recruit. Napatay siya the other day sa Leyte. Ang alias niya si Kenlyn Mark. Rochelle ang kanyang pangalan.
Babae ito?
Babae na naman. Ang duda ko kasi, Mentong, pag na-discover yung mga layers, o yung operations, pugad, iniiwanan yung mga bago, yung mga bagong recruit para makatakas yung mga kadre. At kaya napapansin ko, mga bata napapatay at saka mga babae. Ito naman mga babae pala yung kasama lang nila dahil nagluluto, baka naglalaba pa dyan. Pero sila na iiwan eh. So, ako Mentong, hindi ko na napigilan. Nag-apply na ako dun sa group, sa Facebook ng the Hands of Our Children.
FOOC.
Nag-volunteer na ako. Sabi ko, ano ba magagawa ko para makatulong ako dyan? Ako'y dating student activist, presidente ng College Editors Guild po noong 1968. At nagtamo ng mga sugat din nung magbarila sa Congress, at hindi pa hiluma ang sugat, nasa Battle of Pinjola na ako. Doon natauhan ako. Dahil talaga pala papatayin kami ng mga Metrocom. At mabuti na lamang nasa Pinjola, San Beda. At since grade 1 ako dyan, kilala ako ng security guard, si Bang Johnny. Nung nakita niya akong tumatakbo away from the soldiers, binuksan niya yung pinto at pinapasok niya yung buong grupo ko. 15 yata kami. Sa loob ng San Beda, ang habulan ay papuntang Ligarda, Escalaga at Bustillos. Kami naman, lumabas doon sa likod, sa Concepcion Aguila, Santa Mesa, umuwi na kami. Pero habang naglalakad ako pa uwi, in fact, doon na ako sa bandang Stop and Shop nakasakay dahil gulong-gulo isip ko. Kasi talagang ako papunta sa underground Carabao pa-join na ako ng Kabataan Makabayan. Doon yung dalawang incident na yun, sabi ko, teka mo na, ano ba ito ginagawa ko? Tawag ako Meron pa, bumubugo pa yung sugat ko. Kanginga ko. Eto na naman.
Buti, hindi ka natuloy.
Yun na nga.
Hindi
kasi,
ka pinalas na kagaya ng marami dyan.
Okay.
Naisip ko, Kabaw, na, teka, hindi ito ininvesta ng magulang ko. Ano mangyayari sa akin kung yung, paano ko masisilbihan ng aking bayan kung ako'y mamamatay? Simple naman, commonsensical, di ba? So, nagbago I changed my mind about joining the Kabataan Makabayan. I did not go to the mountains. I distanced myself from my old friends who were recruiting me. And eventually, I have to confess also na nagkaroon ako ng moment of weakness. At ako nag-turn over kay Tony Tagamulilla ng College Editors Guild sa Los Baños. Kasi naman, yung grupo naman dito sa kabila, talaga namang gano'n din, kung gano'n kasama yung nangyayari dito sa kaliwa, sa kanan naman, mas masama pa.
Okay, Kaado, I'll link the discussion to what Kamauro raised a while ago. Kaya pa bang magbago ang lipunan na walang major disruption? Tulad ng mga ginagawa daw ng CPP, NPA, gusto nila isang revolution.
Hindi yun.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the itong seasonite rebellion nito. Wala rin pupunta nito So, ang hinihingi nito, isang deep analysis talaga. So deep, isang novel idea of revolution.
We're supposed to provide that. Lalo na ikaw, Kamauro. You're supposed to provide that.
Yeah, but I'm working on it in a silent way. Pero sabi ko nga, I'm giving myself 5 years para tapusin ito. Hopefully, bago ako umalis.
84.
85. Kasi yung tatay ko namatay 85
Sabi mo, yung nanay mo 97, yung tatay mo 85, so 91 ka siguro in the middle.
Okay. Ayaw mo akong dumating sa 97. Anyway, ganito nandito tayo kay Benny Champion. Kilala ko yan Nung kabangga ko na yan. Kasi noon, ako nasa National Trade Union Bureau, siya nasa Regional Trade Union Bureau. Ibig sabihin, Quezon City, Marikina assignment niya. Ako national, Ngayon, bilang Secretary General ng yung kasama yan ng legal organization sa worker sector, I have to, see to it na yung takbo ng labor front maayos. Pagdating ko ng Quezon City, Marikina, lagi kami nagkakabanggaan niya ni Benny. Kasi siya nasa Regional Trade Union Bureau na nag-a-asset ng authority over the region. Pero ako nasa National Trade Union Bureau na nag-a-asset ng authority over the entire, over the entire movement sa labor sector na entire movement. Ang nangyayari pala sa taas, nagkakabanggaan na yung National Trade Union Bureau tsaka si Joma, Kasi malakas yung, malakas yung labor sector So natitreaten tong si Joma. So inalis niya yung power ng National Trade Union Bureau at binigay doon sa Regional Trade Union Bureaus na makinarya niya. So kaya nagbabanggayan kami niya ni Benny alam niya, kilala niya ako. Ngayon, dito sa kasong may dalawa akong puntong gustong erase diyan, bakit ba itong mga rebelde, bakit binabanatan natin on the legal on the legal front
sa framework
yan military ang that military justice dapat na ina-apply dyan civil justice mga admitted
ang paliwanag ko dyan
frame nila tayo
Kamauro, ang paliwanag ko dyan hindi naman nangyayari sa ibang ASEAN countries yan kundi sa Pilipinas lang
kaya nga
yung mga involved sa armed struggle at yung mga cover nila, yung mga shield nila tulad nitong legal fronts protektado. It is because of the American overwhelming influence in the Philippines and the human rights issue. Pero ngayon nakita natin
yung lawfare,
yung gera using the law, and human rights law. Now, itong dinala ni Presidente Duterte na independent foreign policy and the restoration of full sovereignty, maybe minus 5% kasi nandiyan pa yung American base, American troops nandiyan pa, pero hindi pa kompleto. Allowed now our military to go on the offensive against this legal cover. So
wala akong kahalagang binibigay diyan.
That's right. Yeah. Well, akin diyan ay opening lang doon sa discussion natin ngayon.
Isa pang concern ko diyan. Nangyari yung Crimen 88.
Yes,
Now is 2020.
That's right.
Ang pagkakaintindi ko, yung criminal offense, nagpe-prescribe in 20 years. Although, mahal na kasuhan sila within the prescription period. Kaya, nagtuloy-tuloy. Pero yun ang gusto kong i-klaro dyan.
Well, we'll have to check with the
Within,
lawyer.
beyond 20 years prescriptive
No.
period ng criminal offense, bakit nangyari yan? Anyway, and then,
We'll clarify that.
klaruhin natin. Yan ang problema ng lawfare. No? Sa bagay niyan, na dapat mag-apply na yung military justice,
That's
martial law.
That's right.
What I mean yung
At saka,
military court, no?
where there
Martial
is
court.
where there is a firing squad sa military, di ba? May capital punishment sa military.
I'm not sure.
Di ba si Ninoy?
Oo.
Si Ninoy na capital punishment.
Panahon ni Marcos yun. Pero hindi...
Yan ay ibig sabihin, dapat pag-apply sa mga kalaban ng Estado, hindi yung yung legal
Hindi yung
mechanics ng
hindi yung civilian court, kundi military court.
Military court, yun ang point ko
We'll
dyan.
have some more discussions about this. We're now calling up the Secretary of General Parlade, thankfully arranged by Camauro, no? And by 9 o'clock, hopefully, we will be able to do that
Nakuha mo na
interview.
yung number.
Yeah. Tinatawagan na ni Josh, no? Okay, so let's move on. My point there is, I think, final response to your question, no? Kailan magiging maganda talaga ang lipunan ng sangkatauhan, the human community? I think we're going towards
the entire humanity of the Philippines lang.
you cannot solve a national problem without solving the international problem.
Ganun na lang.
Anyway,
Number one, yung material needs ng tao, masasagot na ng buong teknolohiya ng sangkatauhan. We can now produce all the food we need. Tulad ng Estados Unidos, they're destroying their potato crops and so on in order to maintain shortage para may presyo ang mga produkto nila. Pag natanggal yan, food will be free for everyone. Kita mo ang yaman ng Amerikano ngayon, pero may food line sila. Parang Great Depression. Walang makain ng tao. Pero sila ay pumipila, nakakotseng SUV, mga pinakamahal na kotse, hindi ba, Kado? There is a plenty. Even in the United States, there is a plenty, but there is also hunger. How do you explain that?
What you're saying is, dapat ang atake natin, maski sa propaganda front, yung on the international scope na.
Lagi naman talaga kailangan. Oo. And America will learn the lesson from China. China walang nagugutom. They just finished their anti-poverty campaign. Wala na pong, ang kanilang pinakamababa na income ay 11,000 yuan, to 12,000 yuan per annum. Which is how much times 7 mo? Times 7 mo.
it's about 70,000
Per annum.
pesos per
annum.
person.
Yung mga nasa bundok, ganyan.
Oh,
kita.
laki ng kita.
So, that's from 4,000 several decades ago. So, nag-triple na ang income ng mga pinakamahirap.
That's from poverty line.
That's right.
30 years ago. To about 4,000 and now it's at that
12,000.
level.
So, yan. So, every country should be like that. Lalo-lalo na ang Pilipinas. Sagana tayo sa lupa, ulan. Yung ulan natin, which is God-given, we're not collecting and pooling for the dry season. Tapos binababayaan natin na maging baha yan dahil kulang pa ng water impounding and dams natin. All can be done by engineering knowledge natin.
Itong mga yelo, tinututulan yung
Dam,
building. Hindi ko
Tinututulan
maintindihan.
na.
Ano masama sa dam?
Well, sasabihin na yung mga indigenous people, mga 50,000.
They will always be against anything that stabilizes the social
Tama yan.
conditions.
Okay yan.
Okay.
Anything for dissonance, anything for disruption.
We'll move on the
disturb.
next 10 minutes to the coronavirus issue, which we will resume later on because we're preparing for the Parlade interview. And we'll read some of the feedback from our audience. But dito lang sa mapasukan na natin yung COVID-19 updates sa publiko natin para ma-update. This is the point I was making kanina. Bakit nang uuna ang AstraZeneca samantalang ang second Chinese vaccine firm passes the vaccine panel natin, FDA and DOST, Department of Science and Technology, panel screening for phase 3 trials. So, yung mga Chinese vaccines are going through the process. Biglang papasok itong British, French, Swiss company biglang papasok ang Pfizer.
French company ba yan?
Yung Swiss, yung AstraZeneca,
Yung Seneca, yun nga, yung
Swiss.
Seneca.
Oo.
Still French. Hindi ba yung Denmark siya, French din yan?
French. This one is Swiss, actually.
Alin ang
yung
Seneca?
European,
Yung Sanofi.
Sanofi.
They're both European.
May suspecha ako. Kailangan mauna sila kasi mahal sila.
Mahal sila na
Sa
inaakap
presyo.
o mataas ang
Pero
presyo.
Sa presyo.
That's right.
Marami maghahati.
Point out ko lang nga, Mentong, yung column ko ngayon.
That's right.
Today, nabasa mo ba?
Well, actually, come out.
I'm not for vaccine actually.
Oh. Well, kaya nagre-respond
Ay, ako hindi ako magpapabakuna.
Ako rin.
Ako hindi ako mag-blanket statement dyan.
I'm not an authority, pero I've been making readings.
Pero ayaw ko lang yung 100% no because depende yan sa gawain mo sa buhay. Unang-una, hindi ka nag-MRT, hindi ka nagbubus, nakakotse ka, sarili mo. O pwede kang hindi mag-vaccine kasi you're not exposed to congested transportation, a common work area. You work alone. You can have the good reason for not taking a vaccine. Pero when you make a statement like that, at yung mga ordinary workers and so on, tanggapin yan, baka maharap sila sa peligro. Kasi magbubus sila, mag-jeep sila, mag-MRT sila, pupunta sila sa pabrika, maraming...
Pero what I want to make clear is yung vaccine, actually, live virus yan eh.
Actually, ganito, there are two technologies now. The classical, which is the use of attenuated virus or inactivated virus. So, hindi live. Hindi na buhay yan. Yung isang bago, yun yung gamit ng mga Amerikano ngayon, Pfizer at Moderna, ay DNA at RNA. Na kailangan nga yung napakataas ang cold temperature, napakababa.
Live yun.
Mahirap yung term live eh. Marami.
Anong term natin doon?
Wala akong
Kasi buhay yun eh. Buhay yun na kailangan ipasok sa katawan mo para talunin yung immune system mo at pag nagkaroon
i-reinforce ang immune system para
para
talunin yung
na
virus.
immune system pag pinasok ka ng totoong kaaway, kaya ng
Ang ginagawa nitong mga vaccine na to ay mag-i-introduce sila ng konti para makilala ng immune system natin at makapag-produce siya ng antibodies or there are some other technical terms. May peligro po ang mga layman na pag-usapan yan kasi talagang very intricate and complicated yung mga issues na
Wala ilatag nila.
One
Ilatag
issue,
nila nun.
isang bagay ang tiyak, kagaya ng pinupoint out natin ngayon, pinagkakakitaan.
Yun lang.
Baka may paraan naman na gamutin yung sakit na walang magkikita ng napakalaki.
Okay, ngayon, again on that score, papasukan ko nung profit motive ng Western countries, kaya nga ang mamahal nila, may down payment pang hiningi. Pero ang China nagdeklara na global public good.
Yan, maganda yun.
Kaya ang Brazil po, ang bili ng kanilang vaccine galing sa Sinovac, ay mga $1.96 lang.
Sus Mario Joseph.
Ganyan ka baba,
50 pesos.
Kumpara ngayon sa AstraZeneca, $8, $10, kumpara sa Pfizer, up to $70. Yun. But let's move on, about the coronavirus pa rin. Kasi I'm calculating the time we need to finish all these. Ngayon, and this is relevant to your book, Ado, ilabas mo na yung libro mo dahil ngayon po,
Hindi ko nadala yung libro ko
coronavirus was on many continents before Wuhan outbreak, a Chinese team says. And we have a video now. Are you ready with that? Pwede natin. That's only mga 40 seconds, Diyos, no? Okay. And a German virologist, a German scientist has also said the first viruses did not come from Wuhan. So maraming discoveries na. Ang Italy po ay nag-anunsyo na that they have found the virus in Italy in September of 2019. So maraming discovery. Kaya yung aklat ni Kaado kailangan i-update na ulit, no? Pero of course you can still buy this, because it really gives a comprehensive background and correct conclusion already. No vaccine for a virus called racism. Kasi binabase ni Trump yung kanyang mga diskusyon sa virus sa racism. Wuhan virus daw, Chinese virus, Kung flu, yung tawag ni Kung flu. Okay.
Doon siya nagkamali kaya siya natalo eh.
Oh, malaking bagay.
Meron
May
bang
business na
admission?
bobola siya eh.
Meron na admission of talo si Trump?
Yeah, semi-admission.
Ako ang unang nag-expose na ang virus hindi galing Wuhan kundi galing sa US. Ako rin ang unang nagdeklara kay Biden na nanalo.
Okay.
I did that one day before the Associated Press called on the election.
Let's listen and watch to this German scientist say that he believes the Wuhan the virus, coronavirus, did not come from China but from other places. Ito po, very brief lang, 40 seconds. Let's roll it.
Es ist so, dass das Virus, was weltweit zirkuliert, eine Variante ist, die eigentlich erst in Norditalien aufgetreten ist. Das nennen wir die G-Variante. Das hat sich genetisch verändert und ist, wie wir heute zu sehr hoher Wahrscheinlichkeit wissen, auch infektiöser als die ursprüngliche Wuhan-Variante. Und das Virus, was jetzt weltweit überall festgestellt wird, ist das, was in Norditalien sich verbreitet hat. Also dort war im Grunde genommen der Startschuss für die weltweite Pandemie, nicht in Wuhan.
Okay. Well, hindi napanood ni Kaado at saka napanood ba niyo? Hindi, no?
Wala.
Napanood ko rito sa ating Facebook But ang pinapaliwanag nga nitong German scientist, yung based on the mutations. Now, I have more details, no? But I will just briefly explain it in the next minute, 60 seconds. Ang kanilang pag-aaral po ng virus, many approaches, no? But now, they're using the parang mutations. Binibilang nila at pinusubaybayan nila yung number of mutations. Parang puno. Yung puno number of rings. Makikita mo kung ilang taon na yung puno, saan dumaan, anong weather na dinaanan, and so on. So yung virus pala, nag-mutate siya. Tuloy-tuloy, araw-araw, bawat buwan, nag-iiba. At yung pinakamaraming mutations, yun ang pinakamatanda. At sa isang study nga ng Chinese, kaya nga nag-conclusion sila na malamang itong sa India at sa Europe, if I'm not mistaken, India and Bangladesh pala, not Europe, India and Bangladesh, ang pinakamatandang variation o variant ng coronavirus SARS-CoV-2. At pangalawa ay yung Italy, European, at hindi ang China. So, over the next few months, more and more will be known about this. Now, to your point, to your column today, kasi dalawang column ka na on yung bacteria and virus. Kasi nga, ang katawan natin talaga, mas maraming bacterial cells and virus than human cells.
Sabi niya 10 times more.
Kaya nga,
bacterial cells.
Kaya nga si Kaado, tuwan-tuwa doon sa binibigay ko sa kanyang kefir. Because that is bacteria. Good bacteria, which he now testifies to has improved his...
Ang tawag ko doon Mentong puting demonyo.
Ayun, bakit demonyo naman?
Kasi
dapat yun.
pinapatay yung itim na demonyo. Saka tawag ko.
Pero pwede naman puting anghel.
Pwede rin.
Sige. But that's another matter.
Kefir.
Okay, it's 8:54 and 41 seconds, and I think we're preparing for a may news break ba? Wala. So, may station break. So, tuloy-tuloy tayo sa next 5 minutes, Okay, so, actually, yung discovery mo, Kaado, is really the next discovery of mankind. People will now begin to understand, hindi ko kailangan gamot pala. Hindi ko kailangan ng chemical. Kailangan ko yung balance ng bacteria and virus. And this...
Because, the ultimate doctor of humanity is his own body. Yan ang principle na
Yan din ang pinupoint out ko doon sa column ko Meron tayong natural way of countering yung
You know why, Kabaw? Kasi binigyan tayo ng bathala. Hindi swatang yung bathala natin. Binigyan tayo ng kapangyarihan na inherent sa kanya to be creative also. Di ba?
Okay. Parlado Secretary sabi, about to land pa lang po. May landing nasa aeroplanong ata.
Galing sila ng Mindoro
Okay.
Mga helicopter.
Papunta ng Lucena.
Mukhang hindi matutuloy kung ganyan kasi biyahe pa siya.
Hindi, matutuloy.
Landing di biyahe pa. Paano yan?
Hindi, landing sa base. Helicopter to.
Hindi sila pwedeng 8, pero 9, sigurado.
Okay. Sige, okay.
So, landing na sila sa ano?
Ang sinasabi ko dyan, isa pang malalaman nila Mentong, kaya kumalat yan. Narito sa libro ko there was a prohibition inside the US at some point na wag na silang mag-experiment ng SARS-CoV virus involving animals within the US. Kaya ginawa nila, nagpasabog sila ng grants all over the world. Kaya ang ultimate, kaya hindi ko papalitan ng aking libro even despite this, Mentong. Kasi pati sa Wuhan mismo, nakarelease na sila ng $600,000 part of a 3 billion grant nagaling kay Fauci nagaling sa Amerika and hindi ako magtataka kung yung nasa Bangladesh at India na yan at yung nasa Italy at France ay mga outsourcing nung phase ng study sa SARS-CoV virus, testing it kung yung receptivity at saka transferability with animals. Yun ang Kaya, I think this book, even with the further findings, will still stand up to maybe 40 years from now.
Okay.
Until another thing is discovered.
Okay, so we're now 8:57 and 45 seconds. We have 2.5 minutes for one more topic. We're now moving into ASEAN and Asian issues. Itong susunod na item on your screen now is about Taiwan. Fists and pig guts fly in Taiwan. Anong ibig sabihin po nito? Nag-itsahan, nagbatuhan ng bitoka ng baboy at saka yung mga nagsuntukan sa Taiwan Parliament. Bakit?
Sa loob ng kongreso nila.
Sa parlamento. President Tsai Ing-wen announced in August that the government would, from January 1, allow imports of U.S. pork containing ractopamine, an additive that enhances leanness but is banned in the European Union and China, as well as U.S. beef more than 30 months old, removing a roadblock to a long sought-after U.S. free trade deal for Taiwan. The KMT, the Kuomintang, has strongly opposed the decision, tapping into public concern about food safety after several high-profile scandals in recent years. Ano mong leksyon dito? Unang-una, kung hindi ka wala kang soberenya at ikaw ay mapapasunod sa masama na inuutos ng mas malakang bansa, ayan ang resulta. Lulunukin nila yung mga baka, yung mga karne na 2 taong mahigit na ang nasa freezer. At yung may
Galing Amerika.
Ayun. Kaya itong partido ni Tsai Ing-wen is DPP, Democratic People's Party. Democratic daw, lalasunin nila ang sambayanan nila. And so again, ito pangalawang puntos ko, pasasalamat kay Presidente Duterte. We do not have to swallow such things from the Americans anymore. Although meron pa tayong mga importations na dapat i-correct, we're getting from Brazil and other countries, but that's another matter. It's now 8:59 and 48 seconds. We'll take our break now.
Kapag hindi nakikita sa social media,
Ang PIA Region 2 po ay inopen po ang ating opisina para lahat ng mga media entities ay dito muna maglagay.
hindi ibig sabihin walang ginagawa.
Even yung mga nagdaang bagyo po, talagang yung mga tao dito, wina-warning namin sila na talagang mag-evacuate before the impact.
Yung mga air assets po na na-request namin, nagdatingan po kanina, kaya nakaka-rescue at nakaka-relief operations po kami sa mga unreachable areas.
Sakripisyo ng mga rescuers hindi matatawaran.
Dahil sa nagtitipang batalyon, EMP natin, Marines, nagsisitatingan. Itong patuloy na pagkulan na to, hindi kayang i-drench yung willingness at yung aming commitment to serve and help yung ating mga kababayan.
Dahil sariling pamilya nila ay iniiwanan. para unahing puntahan at iligtas ang mga nangangailangan.
Our National Resource Operations Center ay hindi po tumitigil sa pagre-repack ng mga family food packs. Makakaasa po kayo that we will sustain our disaster response operations.
Medyo mahirap po yung tuloy-tuloy, nakakapagod na po. Subalit pumitas pa rin ang mga sundalo na ito pa rin ang aming sinumpang tungkulin na tulungan ng ating mga kababayan na nangangailangan ng tulong.
Let's all stop the hate. Bayanihan ang ating kailangan. Pamahalaan ay ating pagkatiwalaan.
Dito sila nagtatrabaho round the clock. Ibig sabihin walang hinto, libo-libo lang.
Tulong ay laging nariyan.
Kaya natin to. Babangon rin tayo.
Isang mensahe mula sa Philippine Broadcasting Service, Radyo Pilipinas, Republika FM1, Capital FM2, at ang Integrated News
Andres
Team.
Bonifacio, matapang na tao. Sa labanan, hindi sumusuko. Hindi tumatakbo. Magiting na batang tundo.
Sisimulan na natin ang himagsikan! Ngayon na ang panahon!
Nobyembre 30, araw ng pag-alala sa kapanganakan ng ama ng revolusyon.
Mabuhay ang katipunan!
Supremo Andres Bonifacio. Isang pagpupugay sa isa sa ating mga bayaning huwaran, ang katapangan at pagmamahal sa bayan. Mula sa Radyo Pilipinas, 738 AM.
News and current affairs. Top stories of the day. Business, sports, music, and entertainment. Dadalhin sa inyo ng mas pinaganda, mas pinalawak, mas pinalakas. Radyo Pilipinas. Radyo Pilipinas. 738 sa Metro Manila. Maestro at iba pa. The Unfinished Revolution.
Ano nga ba ang epekto ng mga hakbang ng pamahalaan kay Juan at Juana? Sa anong paraan mararamdaman ng simpleng mamamayan ang mga pinatutupad ng public policies o panuntunan ng Pangulo? Yan ang tatalakayin at ipapaliwanag sa Ang Maestro at Iba Pa. Bahagi kayo ng usapan. Kung may tanong o kuro-kuro, ipaalam sa Ang Maestro at Iba Pa.
The Unfinished Revolution.
Dito na po ang ating Honorable General Parlade as our guest in our Zoom or Skype discussion. And let me check, sabi dito, he stepped out for a second. Okay, while we're waiting for General Parlade, Ka Mauro is just experiencing some uptick ng kanyang blood pressure. How are you now?
Okay lang.
Dahil sa
pero help me out I want to reach my 85th year.
Of course, in fact, I'm ready. We're asking for
I'm giving myself yung ganyang kahabang panahon para gawin ang mga dapat gawin.
By the way, kanina narinig ko si Kamau na meron siyang Kinoy na award. Seasonites.
Yeah.
Ako naman may Kinoy din award. Kamau. Jomista. Mga jomista.
Magandang panawin natin ngayon si General Parlade.
Anong tatanungin mo, Kamau?
Kay
General Parlade that the public, you would like the public to know?
I-congratulate ko siya. Alam mo yung komentary niya, it's now running 5,000 likes. Mga rare phenomena yun sa
I will also congratulate him for the success of this campaign to expose
ang gusto ko sa kanya, pinipilit siya ni Karen Davila, dinig siya talaga sa corner, sinasabi, are you targeting the Gabriela with the military action? Sabi ni General Parlade, Hindi military. Kung military, di patay na sila lahat.
Okay.
Galing na.
Baka andyan na yung blood pressure monitor. I see Marnie coming back. No? So, check
ganda.
natin. Ikaw naman, anong tatanungin mo?
As we go along na lang kasi yun, gusto kong marinig ng mga listeners natin sa kanya kung ano yung nangyari sa meeting niya. Ito lang ang militar na nakipag-meeting kay Darna eh.
Gano'n? May meeting na sila, ha?
May meeting na sila ni Darna.
Good.
Gusto ko malaman. Baka ito si General Parlade ang bagong panday eh. Ang totoong dahil nasa Lucena siya, ang totoong ang probinsyano.
Real live.
Para pandayin ang ating lipunan.
Actual live ang probinsyano.
Reality.
Okay. Well, let me just check, Marnie, is that a blood pressure monitor there that I see you bringing around?
Okay lang.
Anyway, mukhang nagsasubside na yung condition mo.
Okay na.
Ito.
Isang gusto kong iklaro dyan kay General Parlade. No? With the IRR of the anti-terrorist law in place.
Good question.
Yeah.
Pwede na ba aksyonan itong kamatayan black na sinasabi niya, no? Kasi they're advocating anti-government ideas, no? Is there anything in the anti-terror law na pwede nang gamitin dito sa kamatayan black?
At saka mga kongresista na sumumpa to protect and defend the country ay hindi kinukonsider na kaaway o enemy ang mga New People's Army. Bakit naman ganun? Diba? Samantalang ang aim ng New People's Army is a violent takeover of our government.
At ibabalik ko sa kanya yung kaso ni Tiamson, no? Bakit civil court ang ginagawa sa dalawang yan, no? They are admitted rebels, anti-government forces. Bakit gagamitan mo ng civil laws? Dapat military law ang mag-apply diyan. Yun ang point ko diyan. Yun, tanong natin kay General Parlade.
With the case of Sinaninoy Buscaino and our friend Victor Corpus facing the court martial nung panahon ni Marcos. Meron din naman constitutional democracy going on at that time. Diba?
Pero sa kaso talaga nila, martial court ang kailangan. Court martial. Bakit dito civil court ang ginagamit sa mga communist terrorist?
Yan ang hindi ko maintindihan sa ating masamang impluwensya ito para sa akin masamang interpretasyon impluwensya ito ng Kristyanismo sa atin na mga taong salot na ng bayan ay kailangan bigyan pa ng maging mahabagin pa tayo.
Bakit mo i-apply yung civil rights sa mga taong kumukontra mismo sa'yo, no?
Para sa akin kalabaw. Pag ikaw ay nagbitbit ng armas, at handa mo iputok papunta sa gobyerno, bala. You lose your human rights.
The government, you deny yourself of the protections offered by that government.
Yes, by the same government.
Bakit i-apply mo yung civil laws?
Okay. Well, nag-reconnect tayo for a while and now joining na dito, sabi dito sa ating prompter. So, any second now siguro we'll have General Parlade with us here.
Pero yung question mo kanina, Kamaw, kung bakit hindi ba nag-prescribe na ito, palagay ko ito na-arraign na before the 20 years.
Ang prescription will apply dun sa arraignment pa lang.
Arraignment,
Pag na-arraign na siya, hindi na mag-apply yung prescription period.
Kasi baka ba-arraign ka, tapos mag-fugitive ka Di ba? So, miskapo ka di, 30 years kayo nahanap, di babalik ka rin doon from day 2 ng arraignment.
Yun lang gusto kong linawin.
Okay, at we're still waiting for the connection. Okay, are we ready? Okay, there he is, our great General Parlade. Magandang umaga po, General. Kasama po natin dito sa ating programang Yes, kasama natin dito sa ating diskusyon itong linggong ito si Ka Mauro is over there and si Ka Ado Paglinawan. And first of all, Mauro wanted to congratulate you about your column which is now gathering how many, Mauro?
More than 5,000 likes.
Okay.
Salamat po.
And
mga taga-tangkilik.
And well, it's good to hear from our armed forces on these questions kasi in the past parang muted lagi ang AFP. Now you are engaged in the public discussion of issues, no? And that's very welcome. I also want to congratulate the overall success of your campaign to expose to the public the real character behind the legal fronts of the CPP NPA, which they call the NDF, ano? And Ado, you had a question for General Parlade?
You had a recent meeting, General, no? With Darna.
Yes.
So, bigyan nyo kami ng konting eye-opener kung ano nangyari dyan.
Okay, actually, that meeting was brokered by Secretary Lorenzana. They had a meeting, prior to my meeting, they had a meeting at the Department of National Defense. And then the party, the team of Angel Locsin, informed Secretary Lorenzana that they are actually, their intention is to file a libel case against me. So, yun, in that meeting, kinlaro ni Secretary Lorenzana na it's not only General Parlade that you're filing a case against with. It's actually NTF LCAC yan because he's just a spokesperson of the NTF. How's my signal?
Very good, very good. Si Mauro lang, di niya marinig. We are installing his earphone. Go ahead, please, General.
Yes, so in that meeting of Locsin and Secretary Lorenzana, in-explain ni Secretary Lorenzana na if you pursue that case, it's actually a case against the National Task Force. So sabi niya, but if you're going to really pursue that, it's within your rights. So okay lang yun. But ang recommendation ni Secretary Lorenzana to their team was to see me personally so that we can have a dialogue with their lawyers and myself para magkaintindihan muna kung ano yung problema, ano yung issues. And then, of course, kung gusto nilang i-pursue after that meeting with me, okay lang. So, ganun ang naging background.
So, maganda nangyari. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so in our meeting, actually, nagkaliwanagan. Marami akong naintindihan tungkol doon sa advocacy ni Angel Locsin at naintindihan ko rin kung bakit dahil doon sa kanyang advocacy ginamit siya, or let us just say pinakinabangan siya ng Bayan Muna and then Gabriela. In fact, in her during the campaign period, nakasama rin nila si Angel Locsin. That's the reason why ang tingin natin kay Angel Locsin before was really parang siya nandun na siya. She's almost there. Okay. But in that meeting, I was able to clarify that Angel Locsin actually she doesn't like violence and she, sabi nga niya statement niya, she denounces violence, all sorts of violence by all organizations and any individual. So yun yung kinlarify niya. So maganda, at least hindi pala siya pabor sa itong pinaglalaban ng mga underground at saka nitong mga NPA na ito at saka ng CPP. So on my part naman, sabi ko sa kanya, magandang opportunity for us to understand kung ano nga ito, bakit nga ba palaging nakadikit sa si Colmenares. Of course, she explained, nagkataon lang, Colmenares din apelyido ni Neri. Pamangkin niya pala yon si Neri Colmenares. So, yun, kinlarify niya lang din na ayaw niya na yung na-exploit siya by any organization, individual. because of her advocacy. So, nung naglalabasan na itong mga issues na ito, sinabi niya na ayaw niya nang ma-politicize masyado ang kanyang at ayaw niya nang ma-identify dito sa mga organizations na ito. So, yun. Suddenly, turn around. Hindi na niya na well, nung in-explain namin kung bakit ganito yung NTF-ELCAC, ano ba ang objectives ng NTF-ELCAC, it's really ending local communist armed conflict and ending violence. So, nung in-explain ko yun, lahat-lahat yun, doon niya naintindihan kung bakit ganun yung approach ko dito sa issues ng Kaela Colmenares, Nery Colmenares, and itong recruitment, especially using the celebrities. So, doon, nagkalinawan at naintindihan niya yung ating objectives. So she did in fact commit to help us in this campaign against local communist armed conflict.
Yeah, I'm just pointing to Ado or Mauro who wants to know the next question.
Yeah. General, good morning. Gusto kong linawin itong kay Angel Oxin kasi during the last statement na napanood ko sa kanya sa television, defiant siya sa military, sa supposed sa alleged red tagging na ginawa doon sa kanya. So have you had the chance to ask her is she ready now to condemn the NPA, CPP, NDF?
Well, in general, sinabi niya yon that she denounces violence and all these organizations that espouses violence. Although hindi niya sinabi, binanggit specifically yung CPP-NPA, alam ko, naintindihan ko rin kung anong reason niya doon. Of course, nandyan for the longest time, palaging nakadikit sa kanya yung si Nery Colmenares na identified natin dito sa Communist Party of the Philippines. So, yes, in general, she denounced all these sorts of violence by all these organizations.
Without naming the CPP, NPA, NDF?
Yes, at that point, hindi pa niya, at ayaw niya rin makulayan. Ayaw niya rin na i-bash siya ng itong mga organisasyon na ito, ay paginitan siya.
So, mahirap yung sitwasyon.
Nagtindihan natin yun.
Kado, go ahead.
At on the part of her, did she volunteer any cooperation or participation naman sa mga programa ng gobyerno, especially relating to shedding light on these issues?
Yes, to shed light on the issue, maybe not, but to engage us in many of our activities, including atong disaster relief. Nag-volunteer siya. Sabi niya, he wants to be a partner, a closer partner with the armed forces and the government, especially in at these times of crisis, itong mga calamities na ito na pasunod-sunod. Gusto niyang maging very active participant together with the AFP and the government.
Okay, Ka Mauro, you wanted to ask about the implementing rules and regulations of the anti-terror law, how this will impact our problem with the legal fronts of the CPP-NPA.
My point, General, is this. We are dealing with people, forces, who are clearly against the government, who have denounced the government, who have separated from the government. Why are we using civil policies towards them when in fact the conflict has become a military one?
Malalim yan Kamaw. But if you're referring to the CPP,
yes.
Yeah, I guess talagang ang actions natin is really masyadong benign, masyadong malambot. But I think it's a preparatory to something really serious. Like we said, yes, I've been telling this, that we have now the anti-terror law, and for the first time, we have a law that's really serious in addressing this problem. As against the Human Security Act, na halos lahat ng provision niya anti-police, ang tawag namin doon anti-police act. yung Human Security Act of 2007. Can you imagine? If you do surveillance, kailangan mo pang magpaalam. Canary, Colmenares, isa-surveillance kita. Pwede ba? So, oh yes, ano yun? And imagine kung nagkamali ka for every day that you are a person is mistakenly put in jail. For every day na nasa kulungan siya, the government will pay 500,000 pesos. So can you imagine? Ito yung mga mabibigat dun sa Human Security Act. So now, we have the anti-terror law, which is very, very clear. Very clear on the recruitment, being members of this terrorist organization, providing material support, tangible or intangible, and getting involved in preparatory acts. Madami yun. Including planning for this destabilization and house government. That's seditious. Getting involved or providing safe houses, even money and maybe transportation, all of this na-address nitong anti-terror law. So I think there's a big opportunity now for us to really go head on and file criminal charges against these people, including these Makabayan Black. Sabi nga ni Presidente, hindi legal front organizations, walang legal kasi puro illegal yan.
Oh, yun nga eh. Ang ganda yan.
Yeah. So now we have the law. So it's very clear. Kaya nga sabi ko, let's draw that battle lines clearly and then ask these people, are you for justice? Are you for the, what do you call this? Are you with the government in ending this local armed conflict, or you are at the other side? Yun lang yun. Ganun lang kasimple yun.
General, kasi ang gusto ni Kamau at tinatanong niya kasi dahil bakit daw hindi court martial to mga to, katulad nung kina Ninoy at saka kina Dante Buscaino, at bakit daw civil courts pa ginagamit? Ang objective nila ay para kitlin ang gobyerno through violent force.
Honestly, Kuya Ado, I'm not a lawyer. Hindi naman ako...
Oo nga.
Hindi ko alam. First time ko yan narinig na pwede pala i-court martial itong mga civilian ito.
Nangyari yan, Marshal, oh.
Yes.
Now, the conflict having become military, parang mali na i-apply natin yung civil laws. Dapat yung military court ang nag-trial dyan.
Yes, it makes sense.
Oh.
But we'll review our laws. First time ko ito na-encounter ito.
Given that, General, another question. With the IRR of the ATL in place, pwede na ba tayo gumawa ng action laban sa kamatayan black na sinasabi mo? In other words, to put it bluntly, pwede na ba natin silang i-unseat?
Oh yes. In fact, I think the lower house, yung House of Representatives, they are also keenly observing this inquiry in the Senate, and they are also consolidating all these materials or these statements of witnesses, mga former rebels and cadres, speaking against this kamatayan black, for them to be able to take action. So that's one. Baka kaya ng expel, kasi hindi naman tayo papayag ngayon na hanggang inquiry na lang ito. Kailangan gumalaw ang gobyerno, gumalaw ang Kongreso, ang Senado, at napakalinaw naman na. Matagal na tayong hininga ng ebidensya at saka mga witnesses dito sa mga allegations natin or accusations ko. Ito na ngayon, nandyan na sila. In fact, during the last Senate hearing, meron pang 18 nakaantabay sa Bicol, dito sa Tanay, doon sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. 18 more witnesses, mga senior cadres at saka mga regional coordinators ng, for instance, yung Gabriela, who will tell us their modus operandi in actually recruiting directly to the NPAs. Yung isa doon, Gabriela coordinator, bago lang sa atin nag-surrender. Ayun, ikukwento niya kung paano siya nag-recruit ng mga miyembro diretso sa NPA, hindi na dumadaan sa Gabriela. So this is what we're saying. We have all these testimonies na ano yan, with deposition na yan. And in Quezon, for instance, we have 74 affidavits. I have with me now 74 affidavits, all coming from senior cadres and NPA regulars who surrendered recently. So ito sila mag-confirm kung ano yung participation nila. Legal front sila pero very pronounced ang kanilang participation sa underground, sa CPP at saka sa NPA. So if you're asking me kung anong action ang gagawin ng gobyerno, we'll wait for the Senate inquiry first kung ano yung action nila. And then of course we expect the lower house, kasi marami dito nasa lower house. All of them, by the way, yung 6 na yan puro members ng House of Reps, yung Kamatayan Block na yan. So it's for the leadership of the Congress to address this issue. So like I said, they are consolidating also all these testimonies that the former rebels and the cadres have been exposing in the Senate inquiry.
Any idea, General, about time frame? When do we expect results?
Alam ko mabilis ito. Kamo, ito, I think, hindi nila to, habang mainit, dire-diretso na ito, hindi ito nila patatagalin. Ako, I would think that by December, they will take serious action.
You mean legal action?
Yes, legal action. Of course, administrative muna, expulsion probably, and then the criminal aspect of that is not only the lower house, but it's also the NTF-LCAC legal cluster who is also consolidating these pieces of evidence against them para i-pursue na squarely itong mga kaso na ito against them. May mga kaso na tayo na i-file, but in the past, wala pa itong anti-terror law, and then yung ating siguro yung mga evidence and testimonies medyo mababaw pa. Hindi ito, never pa namin ito nakausap itong mga kadre na ito. It's only now that we're using the testimonies of these cadres being presented sa Senate inquiry as evidence dito sa mga kaso na ipa-file natin. So mabigat itong mga kaso na ito, at alam ko mahirapan silang i-debunk ito.
Okay, well, almost 30 minutes has passed so swiftly. May mga comments dito from Robert Amura. Let me see. Yes, from Basil Bakil. Yes, sir, General. Go, sir. Mabuhay ka, Sir Parlade, and many other messages will send to you copies of this. No? So, General, my personal sense is that you are now sweeping away the last of the obstacles to the smooth path towards Philippine economic development, kasi this has been one of the stumbling blocks over the decades, no? So we thank you very much for this effort, and any last minute comment from Ado and Mao, and maybe the last message to the public from our General Parlade.
Well, ako yung natutuwa na there will be swift action anticipated, kasi durog na naman ang puso ko Mentong dahil dito yung sa Leyte may namatay na naman isang 21-year-old na babae, si Kenlyn Mark, na fresh recruit lang ng NPA. Marami pang at some point na baka nasa 300 to 500 yung mga kabataan na yan na hinahanap ng mga magulang nila.
Okay. So, Kaado, we'll just ask for the last minute from General Parlade, your message to our people and our colleagues and comrades.
Yeah, we had actually 8,635 yan on record. Wow. Sa Anak Bayan pa lang yan. That's according to Vicente Ladlad's record. So, napakadami niyan. 2015 yung record na yan. Ewan ko na, baka more than 10,000 na itong potential cadres nila or recruits sa NPAs. Sabi ko nga, Anak Bayan pa lang yun. What about the others? Gabriela Youth, Kabataan, Party List. Napakadami niyan. And I just came from Mindoro, and napakaganda nung developments doon. Many of the senior leadership sa STRPC na tumawid doon sa kabila, they're now seeking some ways for them to reach out to us para bumaba na, sumurrender. So, I think nararamdaman nila yung pressure Just the other day, dalawa. May platoon leader na nag-surrender and then merong isang senior cadre din na nag-surrender. These are veterans. These are members of the main regional guerrilla unit and special operations group. And yet, they have decided to abandon this armed struggle. So, merong dalawa doon, and then the island commander of Mindoro has decided to, go back to the folds of the law. So, yan, they're reaching out to us at pagbibigyan naman natin. This is the trend nationwide. In Masbate, platoon. Kung mag-surrender, in Sorsogon, ganun din, Siam, 2 weeks ago. In Mindanao, ganun din. In the Visayas, ganun din. So I think they're feeling the heat, especially now that there's this anti-terror law. It's only a matter of time that these people will really feel that this is a lost cause that they're trying to fight for. And hopefully, maramdaman din itong mga kabataan na ito. At by the way, ito, ang dami kong messages ngayon. Sir, member ako ng LFS, pero kumalas na ako kahapon. Marami. Napakadami.
Very good news.
Naiintindihan na nila ngayon kung ano yung dividing line between activism and terrorism. So yes, that's a message that I want to for our people to really clear. Is the developments are really very, very positive. And ang kasunod nito, of course, economic development. Magandang pag-usapan sa susunod siguro yung peace talks na yan. Ngayon, ipit din sila. Ngayon, peace talks naman ang gustong pag-usapan nito ni Casino at sa kanina. But no.
Wala nang peace.
Wala na.
Feast talk. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Salamat, Colonel Parlade. Until the next chapter of our discussion. Have a good day po.
Thank you po.
Okay. Station ID. Station ID. Thank you.
Beso, mag-alcohol ka.
Bes, dry na yung kamay ko, kaka-alcohol.
At least patay ang mga germs at virus. Hindi kakalat sa ibang mga gamit o kahit anong bagay na hawakan mo yung COVID. Maigi na yung sure tayo, Bes. Hindi naman mahirap gawin, di ba?
Maging responsable, maging ligtas, sarili ay pangalagaan para COVID-19 ay malabanan. We heal as one. Isang paalala mula sa Philippine Broadcasting Service, Radyo Pilipinas, Republika FM1 at Capital FM2. COVID-19 ay patuloy pa rin nating nilalabanan. Kaya pamahalaan ay pursigidong mabigyan ng bakuna ang bawat mamamayan.
All should have the vaccine without exception.
Mga mahihirap, sundalo at pulis uunahin, pero publiko ay tinitiyak na mabibigyan rin.
I have the money already for the vaccine, but hahanap pa ako ng maraming pera because there are now 130 million Filipinos.
Patuloy na sundan ang mga hakbangin laban sa COVID-19 kasabay ng unti-unting pagluwag ng ekonomiya ng bansa. Dito sa Radyo Pilipinas, 738 AM.
Mahahalagang issue, maiinit na balita at talakayan. Alamin sa mas pinaganda, mas pinalawak, mas pinalakas. Radyo Pilipinas, 738 sa Metro Manila.
Okay, we're now on our last leg dito sa ating diskusyon, and napakaganda yung ating usapan ni General Parlade. Let me just read some of the bati dito. Antonio Miguel Carlos. Hindi ko na babasahin yung ibang mga messages. Just the names. Freddy Oradina, Ana Malindogoy, let me see, Adol Sarmiento, Cecil Reyes, Dang Reyes, Alexander Versosa, Inday Lidoy, Joel Lacandola, Juliet Camaro, and Ruben Sebelio, Cecil Reyes, Nelson Fable Camiling, Helen Flores, Felipe Cruz, and let me read some more. Rita Martinez, Brian Pineda, Avin Gulo, Banjo Aguilar Jr., and Florence Eknerolf, and Juliet Camaro, okay, Basil Bakil, and Robert Amurao, Florence, nabati na natin, Marlon Ricano, is that, Riano, Marlon Riano, and let's see. Anyway, let the other site, hindi ko pa mabuksan, but we'll see later on, Si Kamauro, we have asked him to rest for a while because he's feeling a bit under the weather. Tuloy natin dito sa ating international issues, and first, of course, here sa Asia, ito ay aking hinanda po yung mga latest developments kasi nagkaroon ng two-nation trip si Foreign Minister Wang Yi ng China to improve their ties with South Korea and Japan. Sa South Korea, the Chinese State Counselor and the South Korean President met si President Moon, President Moon, and they vowed to boost bilateral cooperation. While in Japan, China and Japan reached a wide range of consensus on cooperation. At the same time, on the Australian front naman, alam natin itong mga nakaraang buwan nagkakaroon ng alitan ang Australia sa China dahil nga doon sa sunod-sunod ng Australia sa mga utos na ni Presidente Trump at ni Secretary Pompeo ng US na paigtingin ng away sa China doon sa pagtawag ng China virus ni Morrison, ni Prime Minister Morrison ng Australia, doon sa mga Xinjiang issues na wala namang basehan, And so ngayon naman po ang sagot ng China ay na paggigipit doon sa mga importasyon, mga binibili ng China na beef, coal, wine galing sa Australia na ramdam ng Australia at Australian producers of Australian business, billion po ang naantala ng mga shipments na coal, daang bilyon, and so naging napakasakit para sa Australia at ngayon nagkaroon na ng puwang, pagkakataon na turn around ng konti, magparamdam ang Australia, si Prime Minister Morrison, ng pagbubukas ng bagong pinto sa China, and so this report, Australia turns softer on China, not wanting to lose economic interests after the regional comprehensive economic partnership na pumirma din ng Australia with 15 other countries and China doon sa RCEP, And so, ano ang puwang na nagbigay ditong pagkakataon? Yung economic pressure and White House transition. So, nakikita na din ng Australia ni Prime Minister Morrison na palabas na si Trump at siguro yung pressure sa Australia na awayin ng China ay nababawasan na at nagsisimula na si Prime Minister Morrison ng Australia na magpakita ng reconciliation sa China. So, that is a good lesson also for us in the Philippines to show and explain that President Duterte has been correct all along in the pivot to China, in improving relations with China. Kahit na yung kaalyado ng Amerika, yung Australia, nakasama sa Five Eyes, 5 intelligence cooperating agencies, Five Eyes, America, Canada, Australia, whom am I missing? New Zealand ba? And well, anyway, Australia is part of it, Five Eyes ito, pero nagbibigay ng pagkakataon na ngayon na maayos ang relasyon sa China. Si Kaado just came back to his seat, and Kamauro, you're okay? Yeah, okay, just keep relaxing there, And ngayon, ito nakita ko po sa maraming pahayagan din sa Pilipinas ngayon, yung Xi Jinping calls for elevated China-ASEAN cooperation for regional economic recovery. The trade volume between China and ASEAN rose from $292.8 billion in 2010 to $641.5 billion in 2019. And in the first 3 quarters nitong taon 2020, it reached $481.8 billion, up by 5% from the same period last year, making ASEAN China's largest trading partner. So, any reaction, Kaado?
Well, this is a case of a fait accompli. And dahil pinulitika ng Amerika yung COVID-19 at hindi siya nag-enforce ng social and behavioral measures, no? They insisting that democracy should be a free society. So okay, you're also free to get the virus. No? And itong Christmas, Thanksgiving, ganun pa rin sila. Walang pagbabago eh. It's like doing something and expecting a very different result out of it, which I think is a definition of plain non-commonsensical stupidity.
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different
result. No? China, the statistics of China, the unang, in fact, China was the first transparent outbreak, no? Na umamin, hindi nila tinago, no? And immediately reacted with social and behavioral constraints. Kasi dalawang aspeto po itong virus na ito eh. Una, yung mabilis siyang kumalat. Maliit lang ang kanyang mortality at saka fatality rate, pero pag mas marami, mas mabilis siyang kumalat, ang suma total, yung multiplier maliit, pero pagka increase yung multiplicat, ika nga sa arithmetic, no? Kayong mga nagmo-modules ng mga estudyante ngayon, naintindihan nyo ako, the product will still be humongous, malaki pa rin. So hindi nakabawi kagad ng US. Hindi, at palagi ko hindi makakabawi ang US until about next year pa. Samantalang ang China, pagkatapos ng October, by about March, ayos na ang China. And the statistics was very low. They were able to go back to their economic agenda and recover fast. They did not lose as much as what is the US still losing up to now.
Bakit?
Kasi nga, nag-lockdown sila.
Hindi, yung US, bakit until now hindi magamot?
Kasi nga, walang constraints, walang social distancing, panay ang demonstration.
Sinabihan na sila, yung publiko, na sa Thanksgiving, wag na magtipon-tipon. Tipon-tipon pa rin ang mga pamilya, 20, 30, magsasalo-salo, all over America. Ay di hawaan na naman. Hawaan na
naman. So, in fact, I think they're expecting the third wave.
Cases nila, gano'n na ba karami ngayon as of last count?
Well,
alam ko, million.
Yung huling monitoring ko, nasa almost 12 million na. Baka lumampas na ngayon.
12 million na ang cases sa US.
Yeah, and ang deaths ay over 250,000 na. Over 250,000. And so, ang impact niyan sa ekonomiya napakatindi rin. Di lalong nadidelay yung kanyang recovery. Samantalang sa China, they're back to positive growth already.
So, ang sinasabi ni Kaaro kanina, nagkaroon, walang measures ang US na ginawa kagaya ng China.
That's right.
Na nag-lockdown. Pero, are you not considering yung sinasabi mo mismo sa libro mo na ang zero patient US? Hindi natin alam, kaya marami yan. Kasi doon nagsimula yan eh.
Hindi, kaya nga. At,
hindi dahil sa wala silang lockdown, kundi hindi nila kinaya na pigilan yung
Tino mo ka ba
bumaba ng blood pressure mo.
Tino mo ka ba epekto ng using a virus sa politics, under the guise of politics, but actually it's racism. Sinara nila kaagad sinara nila yung traffic of incoming visitors from China. Nilockdown nila yung pero bukas yung galing Europe. So yung mga pumapasok ng New York, tapos binaliktad pa. Sinabi nila na sinasabi ng mga Republicans ay, bakit kayo nagtitiwala sa Democratic Party samantalang ang pinakamaraming pumasok na COVID-19 dito ay through a state that is run by a Democratic governor? Hindi naman nila sinasabi na hindi sinara ni Trump.
Okay. For me, may summary conclusion here is,
paano maka-recover yan?
To always look at issues and problems scientifically.
From the viewpoint of science.
Science talaga. Si Trump looked at it from the viewpoint of politics, yung iba from racism, but not science, and
at sa kaso Mentong ng Pilipinas, meron ako ngayong series na naman sinisimulan na I call Disaster Management 101, Duterte style, no ha? Yung paralelism niyan sa Yolanda, ha? Gumawa tayo ng reforma sa disaster, ha? Yung NDRRMC. No. We put that in place, nagkaroon ng it was in place, yung IRR niya lumabas 2 years before Yolanda. And yet, pagdating ng Yolanda, hindi naman sinunod ng Noynoy Aquino yung sinasabi mo sa NDRRMC. Imbes na yung Secretary of National Defense na si Voltaire Gasmin ang magpatakbo, pinatakbo niya through Paquito Ochoa, who was the Executive Secretary, with Marrojas as the right-hand man. Samantalang ang dapat na right-hand man ay yung administrator ng Office of Civil Defense. Hindi naman nila tinupad yung batas. So sinasabi nila ngayon, may diferensya yung batas, palta natin. Gawin natin isang departamento, but this is another big discussion which we will reserve for later, no? But ang paralelism niyan ganyan, pagka science, kausap mo typhoon, kausap mo COVID, walang debate dyan. Walang debate dyan.
Kung meron man, based on science, sometimes may debate, may kaibahan.
On what's best to do.
For example, ang Sweden, sabi they will not lock down, at dahil nga ang ipupursue nila ay herd immunity, that was June, July, hindi sila nag-lockdown, and maraming mga anti-lockdown na binida yung experience ng Sweden. But today, Sweden has admitted that they have more deaths now than the neighboring countries who have smaller populations than them. Or even bigger populations. Sweden has admitted, Sweden has around 4,000 plus deaths, compared to a few hundred in Denmark and so on.
So matatahimik na si Ian makabenta niyan.
Well, I think Ian made that mistake doon sa kanyang yung anti-lockdown din siya.
Herd immunity.
So, tama yung lockdown. And merong mga nagsasite na ang baba ng death rate, bakit tayo magla-lockdown? Kaya mababa ang death rate kasi may lockdown nga, kasi nagproteksyon ng mga tao. Sometimes yung logic ng iba dapat mapakita sa kanila kasi pag nag-lockdown,
babalikan ko, multiplier ho yung fatality rate, which is 2% and below. Pero pag nilakihan nyo yung multiplicand, 10 persons versus 1 million people, and then siyempre multiply mo by the same multiplier, mas malaki lalabasan.
Nakita ko ng ating news lady coming in, so let's move on. The next item is Australia acknowledges atrocities in Afghanistan. Will the US and UK follow? Kasi nga may report na na-release na po yung sobrang maraming atrocities ng Australian military sa Afghanistan, killing civilians, men, women and children, unarmed, innocent, and so on. And so, matuto po tayo pag yung mga bansa na yan nag-aakusan ng human rights violations, tingnan muna nila ang sarili nila. Ito po ay nagsimula sa rumors ng mga Australian soldiers mismo na kumakalat na marami silang atrocities. Nagkaroon na ngayon ng investigasyon, nakita na kumpirmado na po. By the way, itong mga ginagawa ni Trump in the last few weeks ay talagang matindi po. Tulad nitong assassination ng Iran's father of the nuclear program ng Iran, si Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, dubbed the father of Iranian regime's nuclear bomb, died from injuries in an assassination attempt which finally succeeded when he died. Pero ang theory ng marami, ito ay gawa ng Israel na binigyan ng US ng encouragement at go signal. And finally, Kissinger tells Biden, to those who are asking the question, what will Biden do in relation to China? Well, Kissinger advised Biden to go easy on China. Sabi ni Kissinger, I think democracies should cooperate wherever their convictions allow it or dictate it. I think a coalition aimed at a particular country is unwise, but a coalition to prevent dangers is necessary where the occasion requires. So, we are hoping the Biden administration will learn from all the errors of the Trump administration in international relations, and that will spell a better world for all of us. Mauro, your last points from our 2 hours of discussion with General Parlade, what would you like to say to our audience?
Kissinger was one of the key movers ng US-China normalization, which spilled over to the Philippine-China normalization of diplomatic ties. Kissinger has always been proactive. Alam niya yung national interest din nila. And alam din niya kung paano how the deep state is able to manipulate the situation to the disadvantage of the greater American people. So, ito na moment of truth. The US will have a new president, and we wish them well. They are our friends, they are Americans, and we don't want them, many of our relatives, my family is there, we don't want anything going wrong towards normalization of anything that will be for the good of humanity.
Okay. Mauro.
Well, I'm reserving my last say on Trump. There having been no official proclamation yet. No? Ayokong pangunahan yun. At any rate...
so you think there's still a chance? Tulad ng sabi ni Pompeo, they're preparing for a second Trump term pa rin.
Yeah, nothing is over until it's over.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think I'll just read some of the messages here. Sabi ni Cecil Reyes, sana mag-concentrate na lang ang Duterte government sa pagbababa ng singil sa tubig, kuryente, at internet, at corruption, at criminality, at droga. Hindi yan masusugpo. Okay, mabawasan, maibsan sana. At let me see. Nandyan ang ating news lady. So we'll really have to say goodbye already. And our very energetic National Press Club president na.
Sa pang masamang damo.
Sa pang masamang damo to. Throughout the period of COVID-19, hindi binitaon ng
dapat
radio.
Dapat tumating to na maaga na nakasama ka dito. In-interview namin si Parlade.
Okay, well. So, it's now 9:53 exactly. 2 minutes to go before our news lady sits on this place where I am right now. I think we'll thank baka Mauro. How are you feeling now? Better na?
Yeah, better.
Okay.
Basta't pinag-usapan yung anti-US, gumagana.
Yan lang pala ang gamot mo eh. And salamat kay Ka-Ado for... let's wait for Ka-Ado's regular program at another time slot po in the coming weeks. The earlier that happens, the happier we'll all be. I'll just keep all these messages and maybe we'll print it out, those relevant to General Parlade. Padadala po natin kay General Parlade. Maraming salamat po. I think we can now say bye-bye and wish you all a very good week ahead of you. Let us learn from the past week and let us prepare for the next week and be guided by the truth. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. And so that's it. The last second of this beautiful Sunday of ours with our masasamang damo. Okay.
We know you're always on the go. Pero ang mahuli sa balita is always a big no-no. Kaya Radyo Pilipinas is here to keep you updated. Reliable news delivered to you as it happens. Para sure na wala kang mamimiss. Bookmark our website at www